this episode of Geek Out Loud. It's Superman, it's the Fantastic Four, it's your emails, it's a classic Geek Out Loud. Here we go. Geek Out Loud. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Geek Out Loud. My name is Steve Glosson. So glad to be along with you. And I forgot to hit record, but that's okay because I'm One Take Glosson, and I know that the great people at StreamYard will keep this going for me. So hope everyone's doing well. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Are we coming in loud and clear? That's the question right now. Because it looks like, as I'm streaming at Mixlr Live, that it's not quite as loud as I'd like it to be, and I'm not sure over here on the YouTube or the Rumble. The audio is fine, but the music is doubled. You know what? That may be true. That may be a thing. That's interesting because I am having to play the music through. Thank you, Ken Davis. Ken Davis says the audio is fine, but I think the music is doubled. And Ken Davis has just absolutely made something clear for me. I thought last time around when the music was blowing everyone out, it's because I had jacked the music up here in StreamYard to be able to hear it. But really what was happening is it's playing through StreamYard to the live stream, and the way I've got my system set up so that it will record everything into the recorder, it's also, and so that the people in Mixlr can hear, it's also then coming back through the input, and yeah, so therefore it's doubling up. Ken Davis, well played, sir, well played, and we will try to get that fixed between now and next time. Can't promise it this time. This time it might be a little cray-cray. Actually, you know what? We're going to double up on my singing ability here, and I am going to get this handled, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. So glad to have you with us. I'm an old man who yells at clouds and complains about why things aren't the way they used to be and all that good stuff. My name's Steve Glosson. So glad to be along with you. We're so glad to have those of you who are joining us live in the live stream Zoo Crew, whether it's over at YouTube, Rumble, or Mixlr. We appreciate every single one of you. Now, let's talk about YouTube and Rumble really quickly. Actually, let's stop. Time out. Stop, collaborate, and listen. We're back with a brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flowing like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn out the mic, turn out the lights, and I'll grow to the extreme. Lost it. Anyway, as I was saying so eloquently, let's talk about where we've been. It's been a month. It's been over a month since last we gathered. We were on the cusp of Superman and being revealed to the world, and then also on the heels of Superman, Fantastic Four First Steps was to be held. We've had a lot of positive changes in the old family, and that's caused time to not be able to get back into the recording schedule after the holidays of the 4th of July like I would like to, but we're back, baby. All right, over on the Mixlr music was loud. Gold intro and Steve dropped. That's true. We're softer on Mixlr there because I don't know why. It's something in the settings. I have tried my darndest. Like if I look at right now my recording software, I'm also, did I just get derailed? I sure did. If I look at my, okay, let's get back on track. If I look at my recording software, I always have to like jack the volume up on it because when I'm mixing down the podcast, because there's just something about the way you look tonight takes my breath away. Can we sing without getting a copyright strike? I mean, obviously, probably I can. That's how bad it is that YouTube wouldn't recognize, hey, you're singing copyrighted music by Sir Elton John. Anyway, is that Elton John? The way you look tonight, something about the way you look takes my breath away. I don't know. Anyhow, someone help me out. Steve's just generally soft. Thank you, Rifen. I'm Scott Rifen, the hardest man in radio. I'm tough and gruff. Nothing makes me cry. I never break down. I never get emotional about anything. And I really don't. I don't. I mean, what's to get emotional about? I once killed a raccoon with my. I once killed a raccoon with my truck. I didn't care. I was just worried about my truck. Scott says Roadcaster Pro 2. Yeah, I gotta have the funds to get that thing, and maybe one day we will. Who can really say? Who can really say? I can't. I can't do what I need to do right now and find everything. We're just gonna have to suffer and make it happen. But I believe 5x5, good volume. Thank you, Mark Mallory. That is Elton. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If you need to redo the opening, feel free to do so. No, I don't. I'm not going to redo the opening. It's a kind of wild that YouTube basically is the copyright laws of the planet. It is kind of wild. It is kind of wild that's the case. Riven cried when Han said Chewie were home. Don't believe the legend. No, Riven didn't. He's like, what do you mean we're home? This is ridiculous. Would they ever leave the galaxy? I mean, like, what's the deal? Why, I don't think the Millennium Falcon should have even been on Jakku. That's some of the craziest stuff I've ever heard. So anyhow, they should have named the droid P3L3. That's what we all said. Anyway, I'll have a bake sale to help you get a Roadcaster. Okay, thanks. The raccoon was a suicide. That's true. Now, if you're wondering why those comments aren't coming up on the YouTube, everybody, it's because we're streaming live at Mixer, YouTube, and Rumble. We are madmen like that. We're crazy doing this kind of stuff. Anyway, so before it gets too nuts around here and before things get wild, are we doing an Anime Apocalypse? I sent one the other day. Rusty Owens sent an Anime Apocalypse. Did you send it to the geekoutonline@gmail.com? Because that is the official show email, geekoutonline@gmail.com. I have a bunch of emails we're going to get to here in just a moment as we get into the show. I've got to pull the emails up. And let me see if I can find where you sent the... No, I don't see that, man. Did I do it last time? Rusty Owens? I'm Rusty Owens. You may know me from such hits as Cowboy Rides a Horse. I don't see it, Rusty. You might want to resend it. Geekoutonline@gmail.com. Geekoutonline@gmail.com. We hadn't had Anime Apocalypse in a little bit. We don't have time. There's no time on this one. We've got to go. We have emails. We do have emails, Ken Davis. Listen, I want to say thank you to everyone. Now, granted, it took a month to kind of fill up, but you sent it to me on X. Well, that's why I didn't see it. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, the raccoon that attacked the woman. Yeah, I heard about that on the Rick Burgess show. And, hey, a raccoon will get you now. I don't want to get into Anime Apocalypse talk right now. We just don't have time. But let's just be clear, everybody, and I want everyone to realize raccoons will get you. They don't care. Anime Apocalypse alert. Raccoons will get you. Don't mess around with a raccoon. There's a reason that there's the phrase that exists, pet coon crazy. Because the animals are trying to take over. They're trying to kill us. They want to destroy us. And raccoons will just be the first line of attack. I did hear about that on the Rick Burgess show, Rusty. Thanks for sending that over on X. I did notice that. It's at Geek Out Loud on the platform known as X. You can reach out there. You can follow us there. We're also on Instagram at Real Geek Out Loud. Over there on Instagram. Haven't done anything on Instagram in a while. Got to be better about the social media. By the way, there's a lot happening on this episode that is courtesy of Tim. We shall call him Tim. The producer and social media content guru over at Starkville, or Super House of L. I actually swooped in and stole him from Derek today to get him to help out. And so, Tim, thanks so much for helping me out. I really greatly appreciate it. and it's just going to add to the show. That's what I'm excited about. It's going to kind of add to the show, but also you can kind of see what. Look, this is still very much amateur hour. We'll talk about all this stuff as we get into it. But you know what? You guys have really turned up and turned out. So let's go back to where we were at. Rumble, YouTube numbers. We are 3 people away, 3 subscribers away from 400 over on YouTube. And so please like, subscribe, all that good stuff over at YouTube. You can like us, subscribe. I don't know about ringing the notification bell. I think they just automatically notify you now in your YouTube notifications. I'm not a big fan of getting notifications from stuff other than like text messages and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that we appreciate it if you help us out over there. And at Rumble, we're on the march to 100. We've got I think 12 followers at Rumble. So, hey everybody, thanks for you Rumble folks helping us out over there. Let me find out. I'm sorry, did I say 12? 21. Absolutely reverse that. 21. And really, we want to get to 100 there because that's when things will start to kick in over at Rumble. And we appreciate everyone who helps us out by following us at Rumble, subscribing and liking and commenting in all the places that you do so. We greatly, greatly appreciate all of you doing that. So it is that time. I thought I was going to be able to do this. I don't know, though. I don't know where everything is. My whole gimmick is absolutely out of whack. It's out of order. I don't know where anything is right now, and I have to find it because I don't want to blow everyone's ears out on the YouTube. I want to be professional, and I want to do this well because you deserve it. Is it under my YouTube assets? No, it sure isn't. Oh, music. Nope, that's not it. Is it under drops? Let's find out. Does it even exist anymore? Probably not. All right, we're just gonna have to do it this way. Hey everybody. Let's jump into some emails. How about that? I just don't want it to stop. That's the problem I'm having here. All right, man. I want to stop it sooner than it stops, but I can't. Let me address something really quickly. Many of you have noticed that we've gotten a lot of drops that have gotten away from the old school licensed music and stuff that we used to use. That's because, of course, the YouTube thing that we've tried to get going. And quite frankly, I know that if you're an artist out there, you're like, oh my gosh, he's using AI and it's terrible and it's wrong. I would love to collaborate with actual musicians and vocalists and everything. The problem is I can't pay you what you're worth, just straight up serious business. It takes time and it takes money. If you get someone professional to do these things, people don't just snap their fingers and write songs or get music together for you. It's a process and it takes their time and it costs money. If I were ever in a position to be able to pay someone to collaborate with and do stuff, absolutely, I would go that route. Because I will say this, for all the cool stuff that it does, it's very limited in what I would like to be able to do. Like I would love to be able to collaborate with the AI and say, now look, you just did this, but now how about take and do this? And at least I can't afford to do that kind of AI either. So it is what it is. Matthew Marks writes, and I know you've heard this joke before, Matthew Marks, Luke, and John. Hey, Steve, it's been a long time since I've emailed, but I've been listening to every episode you've put out. Not too hard, since it's once every 6 months. Here's some things I've been geeking out about. Project Hail Mary. I actually bought this audiobook back when it came out, but I must have put off starting it. And then I just forgot about it. Maybe it's because I had read or listened to Andy Weir's second book, Artemis, which wasn't very good, especially compared to The Martian. Then a few days ago, my brother shared a link to the new trailer for the movie adaptation, so I decided I better read or listen to the book between now and the movie's release date. I'm a few chapters in, and so far it's Andy Weir at his finest. It's got that mix of good storytelling, the application of math and science, and witty humor. It takes me back when we all read The Martian together for the Golaverse Reads. The Martian was a fun read and they did a good adaptation of it, I would say. Project Hail Mary is interesting. I didn't realize that I had that in my audiobook ready to listen to, so I need to plug that in and give it a listen. Number 2, Lord of the Rings. I'll never stop geeking out about Tolkien. I actually started hosting a book club with some other local Middle-earth fans where we go through a chapter or two of The Silmarillion, The Hobbit, or The Lord of the Rings each month and discuss. We actually made it all the way through those books and have started reading some of Tolkien's other works. I've also been reading Lord of the Rings to my boys, ages 11, 8, and 6. These are really cool things called soundscapes, which are audio tracks you can play along with the books. Look up The Long Expected Soundscape. Not right now, I won't. They have original score, ambient sound like wind, rivers, birds, etc., and battle sounds, arrows, swords, galloping horses that are all timed to match with audiobooks. With some practice, I've been able to time my narration of the books with these soundscapes, which really makes the stories come alive for my kids. That is really cool, Matthew. Matt Marks, that is neat. I couldn't figure out how to do that. He says, 3, my kids are getting old enough to take to the movie theaters. It's hard to know which movies to take them to because Marvel's quality has been hit or miss. Last winter, I took my oldest boys to the animated movie War of the Rohirrim. I'm hoping to take the boys to Superman this summer. This was sent in on July 2nd, so just before our break that we took, or after we recorded for the last time. I just hope James Gunn keeps it cleaner than the Guardians movies. I love the Guardians of the Galaxy, but some of the humor is not really what I want to expose my kids to yet. Absolutely understood, Matthew Marks. I'd be interested to see what you think. And there goes Crypto in the background. We've also been watching some of the earlier Marvel movies at home and the Star Wars movies and shows. It's been so fun sharing things I love with my kids and seeing them experience these things for the first time. Just the other night, I got to watch my 6-year-old process the scene when Luke shows up at the end of Mandalorian Season 2. Now, this is a cool little incident that takes place between Matthew and his 6-year-old. So the 6-year-old says, "Is that Darth Sidious?" The 8-year-old says, "No, Sidious is dead." The figure ignites his lightsabers, fights the Dark Troopers. 6-year-old, "Oh, is it Anakin?" 8-year-old, "No, Anakin is dead too." 6-year-old, "Oh yeah, wait, is it Ahsoka Tano?" "Yeah, it's definitely Ahsoka Tano." "Wait, me. Ahsoka has white lightsabers, remember?" 6-year-old, "Oh yeah, I think it's Luke." "It's Luke!" Luke reveals his face. R2-D2 enters the scene. That's R2-D2, so it is Luke Skywalker. So a question for you then, Steve. What is something... Hold on a second. Let me find it here. Steve, if you're going to make these things, use them. What's something that has revived your geekdom? In other words, just kind of fired it up and kicked it back into gear. Because I'll know that, and that's from Matt Marks. Thanks, Matt. Good to hear from you, man. Sounds like you're having great times with the boys, and hope it continues on. Let's talk about this for a second. Something that has revived your geekdom. I don't know that my geekdom was on life support necessarily, but I do know that it has been a little less fun in recent years to be into all the stuff that we're into because of different things. You know, I mean, let's just talk about the political things that are out there. You've got, there's this amazing thing that happens. There's a contingency of people who everything that comes out, they like, they're excited about it. It's the greatest thing of all time. There's a contingency on the other end of that everything is the worst and everything has gone off the rails and nobody does any good work anymore. And it's all, they use the word woke, let's be honest. And and I've seen where, yeah, there's been a lot of leaning into certain agendas and everything. We've talked very openly about that here, and my thoughts on that. But y'all, that was nothing new. That started way back. Why am I still doing the double glasses thing? Because I've got to read emails. That's why. Um, we started way back when Jane Foster was calling herself Thor. And the point I was making was I don't have a problem with a female having the powers of Thor. My problem is you can't just say my name is now this person's name. I may do the greatest impression in the world of Scott Rifen, but I am not Scott Rifen. I have met Scott Rifen. I have had dinner with Scott Rifen, and I, sir, am no Scott Rifen. I may sit behind a microphone and carry on a conversation with the microphone, hoping that people are listening. No Scott Rifen. And that's fine. That's okay. But I can say that I'm a podcaster. I can say that I'm a public speaker. I can say that I'm a pastor. I can say that I have done a little broadcasting myself. I can say those things, but it doesn't make me Scott Rifen. Is that rain? Yeah, we're getting a lot of rain here all of a sudden. I don't know if it's coming through or not. Why was I so amazed by rain? What a crazy Oh my goodness, there's water falling out of the sky. In all my life, I've never seen such a thing. Anyway, so this has been going on for a little while now, and it did creep into the movies and really get full blown into some of the shows and everything. What am I talking about? Oh, and so, yeah, ever since The Last Jedi, and not because of the quality of the movie The Last Jedi, but because of all of the infighting that took place in of all of the infighting that took place amongst fans and everything. Like, I felt like I was being castigated because of my thoughts on The Last Jedi, and people absolutely were like saying hateful things about people because they didn't agree with them and that sort of thing. And it really was a downer. My geekdom was kind of on a downward spiral for a little bit there because it just wasn't fun anymore. And I've bemoaned that fact again and again and again. And I'll say this, and I'll talk about it when we get to Superman. Everything doesn't have to be like this deep, meaningful thing. It's okay to be fun. It's okay to just be enjoyable. You don't have to have some other hidden message. And I think that it not being as fun really kind of caused me to step away and step back in a lot of different things. So what revived it, or what brought the fun back to it? I'll say this, getting back into collecting in a fun way, like not collecting to, oh, these will be valuable someday, but collecting because it sparks something of a fun memory. Or I'm a nostalgia addict. And I'm a threat to really lean hard into nostalgia sometimes. But if it tickles a nostalgia bone, if it just means something to me, if I have some connection to something, so like, let's see if there's anything right here that I've got easy access. Well, you know what? We showed it last time on the last episode. This Superman. This is a great Superman. I love the face sculpt. I saw someone reviewing this and they were talking about the Tampa. They didn't like this Tampa gear. I love it. They didn't like the black line around it. I think it adds that cartoon comic booky element to it. This kind of stuff where I can pull it out, I can do some pictures, I can post my mediocre action figure photography either in a video package or over on Instagram. That really kind of kicked some things in. And then just having people to talk about it with, whether it's Scott Rifen, Lucas, aka Lethargic Chewy, you guys here, like this podcast, and kind of getting back in a groove where we were doing that, we're really is another thing that kind of got the juices going in preparation, just getting ready and getting excited about Fantastic Four first steps. Going back through some of those comics and everything was just a blast for me. So it's those kinds of things that really fuel me and really, really get it going. There are two Scott Rifins. Oh, there's one on the Rumble and there's one on the YouTube. Well, Scott Rifin, well played. Rain, no rain coming through the feed. That's good. What the heck is rain? I know. I was surprised as well, Commander Bly. So, Jay Vilk says, the Superman movie revived my geekdom. Man of Steel has made me question the entire character of Superman. But I'm back. I'm back, baby. Absolutely. All right. Coming in next on the old emails here. Christian Slade. I mean, y'all. Christian Slade. That sounds like it was a stormy night. And there I was in my office. I'm Slade. Christian Slade. Private investigator. I was minding my own business, finishing up a 2-bit extortion thing Wow. Yeah, that's good, Steve. Way to do your noir. You're awesome. Christian says, hi, Steve. Writing from Florida here. We actually met briefly way back in 2014 at a Star Wars Weekends where you were hanging out with Jimmy and Jason talking to fans. Jason wasn't there. I just want to point that out, that I was Jason that weekend. I was working there at the time and had been showing some of my Star Wars artwork at a gallery at Hollywood Studios, which I shared with the group. Anyway, I've been listening for years and really enjoyed the show. The Geek Out Loud two-parter featuring the best television theme song, March Madness, is very special to me. Those episodes released in 2023 during a month where my family was grieving the loss of a relative. I'm sorry to hear that, Christian. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Those two shows specifically got me through a very tough time, and I remember breaking a smile and laughing out loud while listening. Thank you for that. Well, it was a great show. I know that, I don't know if he's around tonight, but Tintin is still bitter about the Fall Guy and my thoughts on the Fall Guy. So, there that is. Stepping away. Oh, I'm back to the other email. Stepping away from the conversation, curating the voice of my life has helped. Glossing, I'm with you until you decide to quit. Thank you, Cody. Cody Murphy. Did you not like the Fall Guy? The Fall Guy theme song is not as good as A-Team. That's all there is to it. Plain and simple, the Fall Guy theme song is outclassed by Sanford and Son, the A-Team, Magnum P.I., Simon and Simon, the Dukes of Hazzard. You name it. Knight Rider. There's many, many more than that. The Hawaii Five-O is a better theme song. So A-Team wins all the time. I heard that A-Team theme the other day because my YouTube feed has started giving me TV show clips for some reason. And there have been some A-Team, and I can't resist an A-Team TV show clip. And then as it goes off, it plays the whole thing. Who didn't like the Fall Guy? It's not that anyone doesn't like the Fall Guy. I'm not a big... The theme song is not good. There it is. I said it out loud. Anyway, back to the email. Also, other great topics that might be worth diving into. Best toy comic, yard sale / flea market / shop finds. Thoughts on Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, one of my other favorites besides Star Wars and comics. First Star Wars figure received as a kid and then as an adult. Similar to Steve Martin, I could listen to you read a phone book. Thank you, and I would find it awesome. Your serious talent. Oh, thank you so much. Hoping for more Geek Out Loud episodes. I'm hoping for more as well, Christian. P.S. He says, I always ask for a Sasquatch stick in my local stores. No such luck, and now I'm not allowed to shop at our local Ace Hardware. Well, we'll play the commercial, and you can hear how to get one. So Christian, he gave 3. Listen, the Dark Crystal deserves its own, almost its own show. And if I'm going to talk about the Dark Crystal, then Shaz Bazaar needs to be here with the Dark Crystal. The first Star Wars, I can't tell you the first Star Wars figure I had. I was too young to remember which the first one was. But best flea market find or shop find or that sort of thing. Well, I'll tell you. Years ago, I was down in Jacksonville, Florida, at the Pecan Park Flea Market there. I believe it's called Pecan Park Flea Market. And there was a dude that had a little toy shop in there. He sold a lot of Star Wars collectibles and that sort of thing. I think it was mostly Star Wars, in fact. And in all my life, in all my days growing up, I always wanted an AT-AT, and I never got one as a kid. And this is post Power of the Force days, and so you have your Power of the Force AT-AT, which is kind of a recreation of the original with a couple other like different type of guns and some different electronics in it and that sort of thing. but I didn't have one of those either. I'd kind of missed the boat on those, and so I was he had an AT-AT on the shelf. Now, the thing about the AT-AT is the vintage Kenner AT-AT is there are these two clear chin guns. They're called chin guns because they're up under what would looks like the head, the cockpit, which looks like a head, so it looks like it's its chin. And these two guns, when you press the button and the motorization, I don't know why I went into Cosby kind of there. The motorization makes it go just pew, 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 and it lights up. It makes sound. Well, the chin guns are one of the harder parts to find when it comes to the vintage Kenner AT-AT. Let me find the Kenner AT-AT here real quick. Kenner AT-AT. Now, some people say AT-AT. That's fine. That's fine. I'm not one of those people. I grew up saying AT-AT, and I will always say AT-AT. So let's see. This one looks complete. Courtesy of Transformerland.com. Transformerland.com. Let me pull this up and share the screen. Lot of doing here. Again, no producer, by the way. Don't forget that. Share screen. It'll be that one there. Share. There it is. That's the vintage AT-AT. Let me give it front and center because it's worthy. You can see there. It's you see the front there. The two chin guns in the front area, right there. Those come off pretty easily and are usually lost to time. In fact, and so he had one. There was one chin gun. And even then, like this is early 2000s, so collecting hadn't quite gone crazy again yet, but eBay was now on the scene big time, and the big dealer back then was Brian's Toys, and I guess at that time you had like some of your other shops that are kind of big now starting to crop up, but like you knew by this point what was going to be hard to find, what was rare. You'd begun to learn all this stuff, or I had. And he had one chin gun, and I said, "Look, man, let me just get the chin gun too." And he's like, "I'll keep that." And I'm like, "No," and I'm not going to buy it then, And I got an AT-AT, a vintage AT-AT, for like $50, which is a good deal on that. I mean, it was basically, I think I paid $60, so just like $10 over original retail actually. And with the one chin gun, well, it was pretty dusty and needed some cleaning, so I got home with it. And I'm sitting there at the table that evening, and I'm cleaning it. I've just got a rag and a little some warm water and a little toothbrush and everything, just to kind of get the nooks and crannies and get it cleaned up, looking as good as it can. And I turn it up to kind of get something on the other side, and something's rattling around inside. On the AT-AT, the battery case is there's a door that folds down on the side, and right where you see there on the side that dark square, that's a hole, and that is a door that folds down, that flops down. And then there's a floor with pegs and everything for your soldiers or your stormtroopers and all to stand. And there's a battery case or a battery cover there, and the battery compartment is the word I was looking for. Well, in the battery compartment was the second chin gun. Had no idea. And so to me, that's one of my favorite finds ever at a flea market or a shop or an antique mall or anything like that, because it was something that I'd never had as a kid, and it was something that just fired me up then as an adult collector, because who knew that could be a thing that I've never stumbled into anything like that since either. So all right, that's our man Christian Slade. Thank you, Christian. Brian Boshan emails in here, and he says, "It feels like there's been a little bit of a lull as late with movie releases. All the titles that were delayed by COVID all came out around the same time, and then it feels like nothing but for a while now. I'm excited for this summer: Superman, Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, Karate Kid, Predator, Badlands, possibly Tron Ares. The only ones I'm leery going into are How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch. I feel like near perfect animated movies don't need a live action version." Here. Brian, I absolutely agree with that. We did go see How to Train Your Dragon, and look, it's good. It's How to Train Your Dragon. How could it not be good? It is a remake of a great movie. And How to Train Your Dragon is an outstanding movie. He goes on to say, um, it feels like the studio is taking the studio is taking animated classics, trying to hook a new generation on live action release. We'll see. Maybe I'll love them, but I'm guarded. To me, it's not the same as Lord of the Rings animated, which was okay, but not widely adopted, and then a live action version of the films, which is amazing. Well, here's the thing. This is the difference there, Brian, and I see where you're coming from, but here's the difference. Um, the Lord of the Rings was a book series originally, and when those cartoons were made, it's like, could you do Lord of the Rings in live action and do it well? It took getting to the technology and the passion of a filmmaker like a Peter Jackson to be willing, and a studio to be willing to say 3 movies, um, to do what he did with Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I love Star Wars. Okay, the original trilogy. I hate to use the word love. It's one of my favorite things ever made by man, next to the Constitution of the United States, is Star Wars. There it is. I said it. The original trilogy, particularly, and then the prequel trilogy not far behind. Um, but I'll tell you, the the Lord of the Rings, 2001, 2002, 2003, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Those movies are near perfect. Like I can't find a flaw in them. You might say, well, the length is so long. I feel like they're okay to be that long. I mean, the epics that they are is absolutely great. Um, so anyway, swinging back around to what you're saying, that doesn't that doesn't count as an animated film being remade as a live action film, because you're talking about things like the Jungle Book, like the Lion King, like, of course, I guess the Jungle Book was not a cartoon originally either, but it became ingrained in the culture as a Disney cartoon. um Lion King, Lilo and Stitch, all of the different princess movies, The Little Mermaid, for crying out loud. These movies are nearly perfect as um as animated films, but yeah, but there's no need. It's a money grab. It's not even like to say that trying to get look. If you enjoyed them, great. I'm glad. Don't not enjoy them because I think they shouldn't be made. But understand, I don't think they should be made. It's a money grab, and it is this lack of creativity on the parts of the studios, or let me say this: a lack of a willing to take a risk. But now, if they take a risk, our moviegoers, the moviegoers aren't the same today as they were back in the '90s, when you would go see some movies that weren't necessarily, they were more character driven. They weren't the big tentpole films. They weren't big big event films. Nowadays, it seems like everything has to be an event until it wins an Oscar. Then it can go back in theaters and actually make a little money. But yeah, so yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. We went and saw How to Train Your Dragon just to go to the movies and have kind of a date, but it was not. I was not blown away by it. Why do I love when Star Wars pays shot to shot homage to things, but when these movies do it, a red flag pops up? Because I think Star Wars does it in such a way. Let's talk about a few things. I, as a child, never knew that the original Flash Gordon serials had the scrolling words at the beginning, like Star Wars does. I never knew that when you get to Episode 1 and you see, even as a young adult, I didn't know that the Flash Gordon serials use the same type of talkie thing. There's a whole scene where there's like some kind of screen or something. Anyhow, and it's right out of Flash Gordon. It was just done pretty deftly, by George Lucas. It was meant to be, and it was done with not only a genuine love for what he was paying homage to, but also it was done with enough of a twist on it that it absolutely works. So, he says, if my family doesn't make it all in this summer, it's nice to have something to look forward to when they hit the streaming services. You're absolutely right. It's tough for a family of 5 to go to the movies when you can buy a movie a few months later for full price and still cheaper. High hopes for Superman. Excited my wife is in thanks to crypto. And Brian snagged a gold shirt from T Public. I hope it fit okay, Brian. I don't know how their shirts run and everything. They've just been kind of easy to work with here lately, and I could never figure out the whole spreadshirt thing over there. I don't know. I need someone to teach me how to do online. Online. I need someone to teach me how to do online. That's basically it. So, um, what's next here, really quickly? Oh, Ken Davis, who's been in the chat. Ken emailed in and says, "Just want to say I love what you're doing with the podcast. It's you being a geek and having a fun time. That's what I try to do. Just have a good time." He said, "I remembered you showing off your McFarlane Superman action figure on the show the other week. I was able to get mine together for a little photo shoot, if you will. These are the only ones that I personally own. I know there are definitely more out there, though. Feel free to show on the show if you'd like. I do. Feel free to show them on the show if I like, Ken. So here we go. This is the Superman collectibles of Ken. It's a nice little collection here. First of all, there's Superman. I think that is the gold. This isn't the first one that he released because he's got the cloth cape, but it's also not the one I have because it's a darker blue. I want to say it's like the gold label Superman. He's one I almost picked up when I saw in Walmart. The S is a little more shiny, and you can see it doesn't have the black lines around it. And so there that is. This Lex I regret missing out on. It's Lex in a power suit. It's an updated kind of thing from what he used to wear in the old Superpower show. It's a cool Lex. I like the head sculpt and everything on that. This is a Superboy of some sort. I guess it's John. It's not the Superboy from Reign of the Superman. I think it's supposed to be John Kent, and he looks angry. I'm not familiar with this character, but I am a little bit familiar, but not familiar enough to really wax eloquently about him. And then here is Superman in his black suit from the Reign of the Superman, and this is one that I wish I would have snagged. All of the Reign of the Superman, after playing around with this Superman here, I wish I'd have gotten all the Supermen from the Cyborg Superman. I don't know that he's done a steal yet. Superboy is out there right now, but man, he doesn't have a jacket. But I bet if I went to Etsy, they make a jacket and someone's has already done a customized jacket and glasses for Superboy. The Cyborg Superman looks amazing, and they did Eradicator as well. And I hate that I missed out on those. And here is a shot of all four of his collectibles there together. He's got the Superman in the black suit with the silver S from the Return of Superman, the Lex Luthor. I think it's a gold label called Gold Label Supes, which really does look good. Gosh, that's a good looking Superman. I like the deep blue. He's got a Blackest Night Superman, which I forgot to put the singular picture of up there. Freaky looking zombie Superman kind of guy, and then the Superboy over to the left with some Funko Pop stuff behind. So really cool, man. Listen, it's an addictive thing. If you're not careful, man, the plastic will get to you, Ken Davis. So be careful. Be careful. All right. Finally, here we're going to get to Will West, and this is what Will West has to say. Will says, "Steve, it's been a long time. Been a long time. Been a long time. Been a long, lonely, lonely, lonely time. I absolutely devoured your show in high school. As my friend Derek says, this is how we know we're old. We can't do this without a sip of water anymore. I owe you lots to you related to my humor, taste, and general geek knowledge and awareness. I'm so sorry, Will. I could go on about how much your shows meant to me during that time in my life, but in the interest of brevity, I'll just say thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you do. Wow, thank you for how you do it. You're appreciated. Thank you, Will. You're appreciated, Will. Will West. Sounds like a comic book name if I ever heard one. Come on. Through no fault of anyone's but my own, it's been about 10 years since I tuned in. It's all right. It's been about 10 years since I did a show. I didn't fall off from fandom. I think my priorities in media consumption just shifted a bit, and that's life. Indeed it is. However, recently your show popped into my mind. I was thrilled to see you're still going. I listened to an episode from early July where you talked about a dry email inbox, so I thought I'd reach out to see if I could catch up on what I missed. This could be fun or it could be a complete non-starter, so feel free to completely disregard the whole thing. Done. Just kidding. 10 years, probably more like 8, but 10 is punchier. It's a long time. A lot has happened in the world. Indeed it has. I have a couple of big picture questions and a couple of questions related to things I've continued to dive deeper into as time has gone on. Feel free to take these as they come. Certainly. First things first. Looking back, what stands out as some of your personal favorites in the last 10 years? I'm talking anything: movies, TV shows, music, soundtracks, castings, performances, rumors, meals, action figures, whatever comes to mind. Meals? Always a good burger, man. I'm always down for burger. Action figures. I tell you what, I feel like the action figure collecting game has just ramped up big time since the pandemic, since the COVID came about, because I hate when people do that. Because during that time when no one could go to work, a lot of people got online and started rebuying their childhood and that sort of thing. And there was a lot of that really messed up the collectibles market. Like even right down to like non-sports trading cards suddenly became, that were usually so easy to get outside of a few, suddenly became this just outlandish kind of thing, and messed up back to the wax packs. Of course, Lucas and I still have a couple of boxes. He's got a couple of boxes to do, and so anyway, we've got some things up our sleeves for back to the wax packs if we can ever get to it. But yeah, the action figure market has gone nuts. But what that has given rise to is more of a spotlight on some independent companies and independent toy makers who do some fun things. I say independent because they're not a Hasbro or a Mattel, which are basically, I guess, the only two big ones in the game. I guess Jax has come along, Jax Pacific, and has come along and done real well. But I'm talking about like a Spiro Toys with the Animals of the Warrior Kingdom, which is a really, really neat, cool line. It shades of Thundercats without the humanity. It's more like anthropomorphic. See, I'm no Scott Rifen. Anthropomorphic. It's like animals that are like people. Jax Pacific, not Jack specific, Jax Pacific. And I just popped a P there. So yeah, the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, it's a really cool line. And I got this guy here. This is Palais, or Pale, I guess is how they say it. It's spelled like pale complexion, but I feel like it has to be Palais, right? He's got some great little butterflies. I mean, they're not overly articulated, and so you're not getting into like you've got a kind of an old school ratchety ab crunch, but he also has some wiggle in the hips and good leg motion, good range of motion in legs and feet and everything. And it's a good figure. And then they've got like a big gorilla there, and they've got a big elephant that's coming out that just looks amazing. You've got those guys. You've got Nacelle Toys, which I don't know. Nacelle, what's neat about them to me is, and these guys have gotten a lot of slack or a lot of flack from people for not being everything I guess they want to be. This is a RoboForce. Now, if you don't remember RoboForce from the 80s, you're not alone. RoboForce was not this widely loved, widely known toy line. In fact, I saw one time some RoboForce figures in an antique mall where we were just kind of hanging. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I remember this. This means something, And so Nacelle Toys has gotten the rights to them. I don't know who originally put them out, but Nacelle Toys got the rights to them and went and made these toys. And they made two main figures. Let me share this screen here with you and show you, for those of you who don't know. This comes courtesy of retrofiedmag.com. retrofiedmag.com, and these are what they looked like back in the day. These guys, they had suction cups on their little feet, and that was them, and that was really all they were. Almost like just their arms could kind of squeeze. They were kind of bendy. You can kind of see the what they were. And there were several of them, and they had like one vehicle, maybe a base of some sort. But these were the kind of things that I got because I didn't get anything else at the time. You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, these are a little bit cheaper than Transformers and stuff. And so I must have had one or two, and I know other friends might have had one. It was one of those things you had one or two. You didn't necessarily collect them all. There wasn't a popular cartoon about them. Well, this is what they've done, and they've put a cartoon. I guess it's out on Tubi, and somehow The Rock is attached. But they took kind of, and you can see, and they actually do. The old toys had suction cups on the bottom, and the feet actually do come with suction cups that you can plug in, and they can sit there. Here's the thing: he's very bulky, very big. The things that you wish moved don't move. So like these cables and stuff aren't bending like you wish they were. But he's got nice enough head articulation. He's got pretty good leg articulation, leg and knee articulation. They're a really neat looking figure, and his little thing just fell off there. That's fine. But there are a lot of people who kind of slag on him for some reason, and I don't know why. I dig them. The RoboForce. Nacelle has put out 2 of those. I think it's Nacelle that right now has the rights to do 6-inch Star Trek figures, and they're doing. If you're a Star Trek fan, it feels like they're doing the Lord's work for Star Trek collection, because they're doing obscure things. They're not just doing Kirk, Spock, and the crew, and then losing the license. They started out of the gate with a bunch of side characters and one-off kind of things that the hardcore fans would really dig. And then they're doing a lot of things with the intention of being affordable. They've got a Great Garloo line that is like little 3 3/4 inch figures of the Great Garloo, which is an old toy from like back in the '60s, and they're $5. Whereas you go to the reaction figures from Super 7 or whoever it is, are $20. For the same type of articulation, and everything. So anyway, just saying those kinds of things are happening in the toy collecting space, and there's some really neat stuff too. We don't have time to do a toy talk segment. We got so much going on, and I'm not even going to get to everything in this episode because I've got a hard out tonight, and so we got to move on. But yeah, Will, that's those kinds of things, and Will's got a lot more to say. Can you see any? Okay, wow, these are great questions. These are questions that I would love to have a conversation with Scott Rifen and Shaz Bazaar on. Let me just read these things, and you guys run with them, and we'll come back to this. Well, this is a great email. Looking back at the past 10 years, any movies, TV shows, music, soundtracks, casting for action figures, whatever comes to mind, we could talk about all these things. TV shows, I mean, Stranger Things was a game changer, back in 2016, 2017, 2016. As far as music and stuff goes, yeah, a lot great. Anyhow, secondly, why? Can you see any trends in the media that you've especially enjoyed? Maybe it's because things have been especially true to the source material, or especially divergent and risk taking. Maybe they've scratched a certain itch aesthetically, or maybe they've just been downright good. Superman. There it is. I'll say that. If you go back and experience one of these things for the first time, what would it be and what? I would enjoy going back to experience Endgame for the first time, with the fresh eyes, with the excitement of this whole thing coming to an end, and getting to be shocked and amazed again, and not like, now that I've sat with Endgame, there are things that just disappoint me so much. The treatment of the Hulk in Endgame and Infinity War really bothers me as a longtime Hulk fan, but I'd love to go back and experience Endgame again for the first time. If you go back in time and tell yourself 10 years ago one thing, with the exception of winning lottery numbers or stock trades, etc., what would it be? Hey, get ready. It's about to be a fun ride. You're going to be all right, man. And because 10 years ago, I was eyeballing leaving where I was to get up this way. And, I was stuck where I was. I was about a year out from moving at this point and didn't know it quite yet, but I was on the way. And anyway, yeah. And that led to me meeting my wife and just having a wonderful life. So, I'd go back and say, hey man, do this, and this, and get ready. It's about to be fun. It's about to be a good ride. He says, if you've gotten this far, thanks for humoring a couple of things top of mind for me. And I'm going to save these because he gets into Star Wars, Marvel, and DC a little bit, but he gets to Alien and Terminator. And I think they deserve their own time of discussion, especially knowing what's going on here. finally, Clark Wilson says, "Hey, Steve, Superman and the Fantastic Four is the subject line. Hey, Steve, the movie's been out for almost 2 weeks now. Where are you?" Well, this was, 8 days ago. So I tell you what, Clark, you know what? You're right. It's time. Would I please talk Superman and Fantastic Four? Yes. Yes, I will. I sure will. Right after this break, we're going to take a break, pay some bills, and when we come back, we'll rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we'll do. What's happening here? This is a new thing that I'm not used to. Oh, I got to turn this off, don't I? I'll get it figured out. I'll get it figured out. Here we are. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Superman, we'll dig in. Stick around. It's Geek Out Loud. Don't forget, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll be back. If you enjoy the fun of Geek Out Loud and you're in a position to support the show, check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/Geek Out Loud. Patreon supporters get exclusive shows, including lost episodes of the Big Honkin' Show. If we find it. The movie show with Steve and Dave. Walk Out Loud with Jazz Bazaar. Petra Means Rock Out Loud. The Forceology Course with Professors Dawson and Chaz. The Hot Tub Geek Machine. And now, ad-free episodes of Geek Out Loud. Also, enjoy exclusive access to the Geek Out Loud Discord, which is a thing I forgot, and it's a thing, so I haven't checked it out in weeks, probably months. But you can get access if you enjoy laughing and good discussions about all the things we enjoy. The Geek Out Loud Patreon experience is for you. Thanks to all of you who supported in the past, are supporting now, or even if you're just thinking, it means the world to me, and I look forward to seeing you there. Here's a clip from a recent episode, well, not so recent, over on Patreon. Listen, he's kicked out. He's waking up. He's waking up.
Oh, that's a nice shot of the mountain there.
Yeah. I believe that's a fake mountain.
Yes, I'm sure.
There's Godzilla.
Look below. This is the stuff they used early in the movie.
Here we go. Yes, here we go. Listen, we're about to see an awesome move by King Kong here. I just want you to know, because this is it now. This is the fight. This is what we've been waiting for. Godzilla's not running away. I mean, King Kong's not running away this time.
He's ready.
They gotta let that monkey go. Drop the monkey. There we go.
Monkey,
now watch. Here we go. He's coming down.
Oh my god!
Boom! And Godzilla goes tumbling. Godzilla is down. That's right. Film it, buddy. Kong's up. He's going up the hill again. It's over, Godzilla. I have the high ground. You are my brother, Godzilla.
I loved you.
He has the high ground. Here comes Godzilla. You underestimate my power. And now the big brain King Kong. It looks like he's going back to the well for something that didn't work last time. Maybe. Oh, I thought he was looking for a rock.
Oh yeah.
Instead, he's coming around
there with the arms.
Where'd Kong go? Oh, Kong is using his big brain.
Yeah.
Uses his big brain to hide from Godzilla. Little pea brain Godzilla now looking around. Godzilla's confused as to what's going on. Marco. Polo.
Congo.
Yeah. Kong now. Watching that tail. He's got him by the tail. Lizard by the tail. Yeah, and Kong continued to go back to the tail. Godzilla trying to get away from him, trying to take a powder. Godzilla doesn't want any of Kong this time.
You don't want any part of that.
Kong's figured out if you don't get in front of him, he can't use that breath on you. The tail's too much. The tail's too much for Kong. The arm flapping, that can only signal one thing. Oh, right in the face with a rock.
Ow!
He's going to do it again, but not this time.
Oh, man.
Godzilla. Oh, Kong unfazed. Now it's on. Atomic breath. But Godzilla, King Kong has seen that before, Dave. He hates the smell of burnt hair. Here we go. Collar elbow tie up.
Yeah.
And
it's like Kong going for a choke there. Can't quite get it.
Godzilla trying to get the underhand, trying to get the control. Well, maybe that was funny and possibly informative or thought-provoking. Maybe. Check out patreon.com/geekoutloud to support the show.
Are you fed up with those annoying Bigfoot?
This thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair. I thought he was going to kill my little dog.
Save time and money with Sasquatch Stick. The Sasquatch Stick is a revolutionary device that rids your property of those problem Bigfoot.
I come out here and rough talk him and run him off.
Our product's been successfully used by tens of thousands of people and been positively reviewed on nationwide news programs.
So I go up here, this stick, he was standing right there. And I said, get away from here. Get.
If you're not 100% satisfied, you'll get your money back guaranteed. Works on most mythic beasts, real or imagined.
And he went right back out that path again.
Others may cost you $100, but for 4 easy payments of $19.95. The Sasquatch Stick can be limited time offer, not available in stores.
All right, it's time to talk about, not Superman yet, but Stand Shoes. Stand Shoes. Now, listen, I want to say right out of the gate, several of you have ordered some Stand Shoes, and I hope that you are enjoying them as much as I enjoy mine. I'm not making it up when I say that Stand Shoes are some of the more comfortable shoes I've ever put on my feet. I've dealt with foot issues since I was a kid. Not just ugly feet, but like I had growing pains as a kid and had to put little pads in my shoes and everything to cushion my heels. And being a fat guy, being up on your feet a lot will hurt your feet too. So I tried these out because if I'm going to have something be affiliated with the show or the show be affiliated with something, I do want to make sure it works. So I tried these out. I did not get sent Stand Shoes. I had to pay for my own. And I got to tell you, once I got them broke in, because I have extra wide feet as well, they're great. Like, we've got a little puppy dog, and we take the puppy dog walking twice a day now. I take him in the mornings, and I'm not talking about like we go walk around like, a few 100 yards. This morning we walked almost 2 miles. I know that doesn't sound like to you skinny people, but to Fatty, that's a whole lot of walking. And when you do that and you have to turn around like on a Wednesday night and stand up for an hour or more with people and teach and that sort of thing that I do, you want to have something on your feet that's going to cushion your feet, but also, surprisingly, help out your back a little bit. That's helped me. It's helped my back. Let me say that. I love them. I am a proponent of Stand Shoes, and I hope that those of you who've bought some will let me know if you like them as well, because I can say for myself, absolutely, I believe that they are comfort shoes for extended standing. They're designed for anyone who's on their feet all day or recovering after a workout, offering slip-resistant soles, fluid resistance, cloud-like comfort. They're backed by innovation and lab-tested comfort, and they keep you standing all day. Enjoy an exclusive discount with my promo code GEEKOUT at standshoes.com. That's standshoes.com. There's a link in the description. Or you just use my code GEEKOUT when you check out, and you'll get 15% off of any product that you put in your cart. So Stansshoes.com, promo code Geek Out, and we thank them for their affiliation with us. Now, also, I just want to tell you about Long Table Pancakes. I love breakfast food. I'm an absolute breakfast food fiend. As you can look at me and see, I just love food. But I love breakfast food. And I'll eat breakfast for breakfast. I'll eat breakfast for dinner. I love breakfast food. Pancakes are a special love. They're not only good to eat, but I associate pancakes with so many great memories. Snow days, Saturday mornings watching cartoons, Christmas morning, or just some random happiness because Mom decided to make pancakes. That enjoyment has carried over into adulthood because now I'm a grown-up and I can eat pancakes anytime I want to. And so I'm excited about Long Table Pancakes. LongTablePancakes.com. Now, this is your place to go for heirloom grain pancake and waffle mix. Long Table Pancakes have been featured on Shark Tank. They made a big impact. You can try their popcorn pancake mix, their blue corn pancake mix, or their gluten-free pancake mix and get a special discount of 20% off any item using the code GEEKOUT. The folks at Long Table are serious about sustainable agriculture while delivering a pancake and waffle mix packed with flavor and protein. Head over to Long Table Pancakes. That's L-O-N-G, Table Pancakes, today. Try one of their mixes or grab the variety pack, and don't forget to use the code GEEKOUT for 20% off. Man, I love pancakes. And I've got something to go with them to tell you about in the next break. But let's get back into the show. How about that? Catch me outside.
Geek out loud! Geek out loud! Geek out loud! Geek out loud! Geek out loud!
All right, welcome back to the show proper. Glad to have you along with us. I will just say this about the advertisements you just heard made. Whoop, sorry about that. Not just the Patreon stuff. Of course, Patreon is just me and Dave and Shaz Bazaar and others who happen to be in on like the Hot Tub Geek Machine, that sort of thing. I've really tried to, with the affiliates that I've been able to pick and choose from, thanks to Blueberry. By the way, if you want a podcast, Blueberry is the way to go. And there's a promo code, I think, in the description for that too. But anyhow, and I have put some things front and center because I've tried them. Other things are there, but I haven't tried them yet. And when I do, if I like them, I'll let you know. If I don't, I'm not going to keep trying to push them. So just understand that's where we're at on that. Now, it's time to get into Superman. I don't have a ton of time left for this episode, but we're gonna get into it all together. I just got I missed the text from Scott Rifen and gang, and he's got a old Battlestar Galactica blaster. That's pretty cool, Scott. It's pretty cool, I guess. So all right, here we go. What's happening in the chat real quick? Superman was fantastic. According to Jimmy, not in Georgia. Jimmy in Georgia, now he's Art with Jimmy, long distance producer and content provider, OG Zoo Crew, as it were. And indeed, good to have you along with us. I didn't really do a roll call, but we've got a lot of people listening. We thank you for joining in and being a part of what's happening here. So I want to go right out of the gate and say thank you to Tim from the Super House of L, who I guess he's a producer is the right word for him over there. He helps do the social media, provides a lot of information about old shows and everything. He's an archivist as well as a social media guru over there. And he's helped me with some various and sundry screenshots and everything. So let's talk Superman. I think I made it clear going into Superman that I was kind of trepidatious about James Gunn's involvement. James Gunn did something that I don't know that anyone else could have done when it comes to. I'm sitting here the whole time with 2 pairs of glasses on. I'm like an idiot. James Gunn did something that I don't know anyone else could have done with Guardians of the Galaxy. He made it accessible, and I said this on, I believe, Rule the Galaxy. I was on, or maybe it was on the House of L. But I always repeat myself, so I'm just going to do it here as well. James Gunn is to blame for all these movies in the past few years having, that needle drop in it, where all of a sudden a classic rock song or a classic pop song kicks in. It's because of what he did with the first Guardians. It was so successful. The thing is, though, is that was part of the story. It drove Peter Quill. It becomes a real thing, and so that carries through the rest of those movies naturally. There's a lot of these movies they're just doing it for the sake of doing it. I'll even say the MCU did it for the sake of doing it. Thor Ragnarok, as much as I love the Immigrant Song, Thor Ragnarok using the Immigrant Song was a direct correlation to what had been done with Guardians Volume 1 and Volume 2 and the success of using classic pop rock music in those movies. It had no place in Thor Ragnarok. I know we come from the land of the ice, and so I know it sounds like it has a place in Thor Ragnarok, and it's a great needle drop both times it happens. But it had not been done in the other 2 films. And the one thing, and it's been the one thing that bothered me about the MCU after Endgame, when there were more things that bothered me, was the inconsistency in scores and in some senses tone. Thor was funny from the get-go. Like, the first Thor is a funny movie. Dark World carried that same kind of humor on, and it wasn't the Guardians of the Galaxy humor. When you get to Taika Waititi's Thor Ragnarok, and then in Thor Love and Thunder as well, like, suddenly we're just, it's a whole different, it's like going from Batman Returns to Batman Forever and then Batman and Robin. It really is. And it comes down to a different vision and a different understanding of what these movies are and that sort of thing. But also, all of these studios have said we need to do what James Gunn did. So there's that he changed cinema for a little while with that. But then with Guardians, he had the freedom, and I think it was Brian, or maybe it was, I forget who else said, that the trepidations of James Gunn, because of some of the language and stuff that's in Guardians and everything, and his work that he's done in these other places, Peacemaker and stuff like that, Suicide Squad. Can he really do Superman the right way? Well, he did. I'll just go ahead and say my concerns were, I think they were well founded, but they proved out to be, I didn't need to have them because James Gunn did a superb job with Superman. Let me get the things that the quibbles and bits out of the way first. The things that kind of just tickle my brain a little too much for me to ignore. I am not a fan of the S shield that Superman wears. I like the traditional S. Not Action Comics 1 S or Superman #1 S, but this bad boy right here, this thing. I'm a fan of that particular shield, and if you have some variations on that, if it's got some texture, that's fine. The Kingdom Come S shield, I'm not a big fan of. Now listen, I'm not mad, and I'm not going to sit here and talk about, well, it should be this because blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into all that. Just not a fan. I don't know that the score is my favorite. Do I like the use of the John Williams theme? Do I like that we're using the Superman theme as the Superman theme? Absolutely. But man, we really leaned hard into that slow it down and make it emotionally manipulative, didn't we? I'm not hating, just wasn't my favorite thing. And then I could have done without the side characters. I could have done without, not the side characters, without the other superheroes. I could have done without Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl and Miss Terrific. They weren't too distracting throughout the whole thing, but man, Mr. Terrific really took front and center. And a lot of people said going into it, before I'd seen it, a lot of the reviews said, well, Mr. Terrific steals the show. I don't want a Superman movie where Mr. Terrific steals the show. I don't want a Superman movie where any other superhero steals the show. I want Superman to steal the show because it's his show. It's his movie. So there, I'm not mad though. I'm not mad about it. I don't think it ruined the movie. I just would like less of that in a Superman movie. Having said all that, love this movie. I absolutely enjoyed it. The fact that James Gunn brought Krypto into a film, and did it in such a way that it makes sense, that it is that it's heartwarming, that it's heart tugging, that he acts like a real dog. I'm down with that, man. Krypto became this great part of this movie that you couldn't have told me it was going to be that awesome. You couldn't have convinced me that Krypto would work in a Superman movie at all. And he did. He absolutely did. And played a bit of a role there too, as far as not just helping Superman out at the beginning, but like at the end, like he's involved in the big fight. He's doing things. He becomes a key player in what's going on there. So, Krypto was great. The characterization of Superman, David Cornsweet Superman was wonderful. Now listen, Christopher Reeve, I hate this phrase, but I don't know any other way to say it. Christopher Reeve will always be my Superman. Christopher Reeve is always going to be, in my eyes, the best Superman. I'm not raising Christopher Reeve up by knocking down other people. I love the George Reeves Superman, but Christopher Reeve is Superman to me. I enjoy Dean Cain and the New Adventures of Lois and Clark for what it's, or the New Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark. For what it's worth, I think Dean Cain does an admirable job for what that TV show was, and he fits the bill, and so I enjoy it just fine. But he's no Christopher Reeve. I like Henry Cavill as Superman. I really do. He's no Christopher Reeve. I really enjoyed Brandon Routh. I thought Brandon Routh did an outstanding job as Superman and Clark Kent. He's no Christopher Reeve. To me, Christopher Reeve will be the best Superman ever. That's fine. David Cornsweet, absolutely wonderful. I like his voice. I like his look. I like the fact that he enjoys being Superman, that he actually gets some, you can see there's happiness in what he's doing. That he is doing the best he can, and he is doing what he feels is right. But as he says at the end, he does make mistakes. And I like this Superman. I really do. I like some people are saying he was depowered. I don't know that he was depowered. He was fighting his clone, for crying out loud. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert through this whole thing. I don't know that Superman's depowered as much as when you're fighting your clone. It's a little hard to fight your clone. But we'll get there in just a second with the whole Ultraman thing and what's in view there, because you've got Ultraman, who is the name of an alternate reality Superman. You've got basically the Bizarro origin, which is he's a clone of Superman created by Lex Luthor. And you got a little Nuclear Man thrown in there because he used a strand of Superman's hair. So there you go. I enjoyed Lois. I thought that I can't think of her name. Rachel Branahan did a great job as Lois. Oh man, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Come on. Now I'll say this. To me, my favorite Lex Luthor is, settle down everybody, is going to be Michael Rosenbaum. We spent 10 years with him, for crying out loud. Or not 10. We spent 7 years with him, for crying out loud. And Rosenbaum did such a great job, and that show was written in such a way to focus on him so much. You were really rooting for Lex. As one of my good friends said when we used to watch Smallville together, she said, I just keep praying Lex is going to get saved. And it was tragic to watch that relationship those two had kind of collapse. And and you can't really ever pinpoint exactly where, even though you do kind of know right where it happens. But at the same time, there's all these conversations that take place afterwards, and it really is the start again, stop again thing. But I thought he played a villainous Lex very well. I thought he played a torn Lex very well. I thought he played a trying to be the good guy Lex very well. Michael Rosenbaum, just because of the time spent with him, is going to be my favorite Lex Luthor. Gene Hackman is always going to be my first Lex Luthor, next to the cartoons, outside of the cartoon Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom. But yeah, so obviously Gene Hackman has a very special place in my heart, and as for being Lex Luthor. But man, Nicholas Hoult, he rocked it, man. He absolutely, the way this character is written is great. That he's after Superman. Everything he's done has been to bring Superman down. There is a land grab involved, Superman the movie and Superman Returns. There is that part of things that's involved, but ultimately it comes back to, and he admits it, he's envious of Superman. He can't understand how he's so smart, has done so much for humanity and all of these things, but the minute this alien comes on the scene, everyone's all about him. I love that motivation. I love the motivation for a bad guy who's just a bad guy for bad reasons. I don't like let me say this differently. I am okay with a villain's just someone who had a really bad day and snapped, but I just like a guy that's like, I'm just a spoiled brat and everyone should like me and they like you better, and so I'm done. I'm okay with that, I'm okay with a genius scientist who's a mad scientist but also a businessman, I'm fine with that. Lex killed a guy, and I think that's one of the most shocking things about this movie is that he killed a guy in cold blood just to hurt Superman. And it came out of nowhere. Like, it absolutely went against the entire tone of this movie. So that darkness lets you just see how bad this Lex is and how evil he is. And he did a great job. Nicholas Hoult did a great job as Lex Luthor. I enjoyed the Daily Planet cast. I enjoyed the visuals of this film. One of the first things we saw was the image of him in the apartment with the big thing in the background. We find out it's just an imp from the fifth dimension. I think that James Gunn has said it's not Mxyzptlk, but it's one of those things like you just kind of watch in the background. The thing's getting beat with a bat, and all of a sudden when it's defeated, it just kind of sprays out all the purple light everywhere. The engineer was interesting. I'm not familiar with this character from DC Comics, but the fact that apparently this is a good guy in the comics, and they made her a bad guy for this. The whole thing with the country and everything, like this felt a little bit Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, but it also felt a little Superman 4, that he's going to stop a war, because if he doesn't, people will die. And y'all know me, I'm okay with Superman 4. I'm not anti-Superman 4. It definitely puts Superman in a conundrum to how far should he go. And, I do appreciate the fact that you have to deal with the morality of who's he representing. How is this good for humanity? And so the message, or the reveal of the message to the world, comes along at just the right time, where there is a little bit of controversy about what Superman did. And now there's the fear that this is what Superman is going to do. I'm not a fan of the message. I'm not a fan of it being real. James Gunn has said it's real. But now listen, if I were writing a movie and this was a plot point in the movie and I was going to fix it in the next movie or two, I would absolutely tell everyone, oh yeah, that's a real thing, because I want it to be a surprise, or I want it to be refreshing when it happens. So yeah, I don't like that Jor-El and Lara are like, hey, yeah, populate the place, but I also like the fact that you have the influence of Jonathan and Martha on Clark, that is who he is. Because and it kind of goes back to Smallville as well. When in that show, when Jor-El comes on the scene, and he's telling Clark that, you're supposed to be this, you rule them well, that sort of thing. But you end up with a whole other kind of thing of Clark being torn between what he's been raised by his earthly parents to be, because that's all he's ever known. And so there's this contradiction within Clark of doing that. Well, here it's the same thing. And so when you get to the end, it just ends up being this beautiful thing of, it soothes him. It soothes Clark to see the pictures of his family. And it's Clark as a little boy running to his dad. And I mean, that's just, come on. Like, that's what you want from Superman. You want a Superman who was raised by salt of the earth, great people, and he turned out okay. That he is a guy who doesn't curse. This scene here, he's like, "What the hey, dude? Yeah, what the hey, man?" Like, he doesn't cuss. People cussing around him, not Superman. He does under his breath when he sees the monkeys. That was pointed out to me on House of L the other day. But he's a good dude. What is that from? You're basically a good dude. Okay. Anyone know what that's from? You're a good dude. You're basically a good dude. I don't know. I don't know where that's from. It's killing me though now. I don't know. I'm back to Superman. I've derailed myself. Bradley Cooper and him being a bad guy, not Russell Crowe. Yeah, Jor-El playing by Brad. I didn't realize it was Bradley Cooper. I had to hear about it later, with what was going on. Lex was a good. John Cryer was a good Lex in Supergirl. He was. He was in that whole thing. Michael Mercy in the house. Hey, Michael, glad to have you along with us, man. Thanks for showing up. I feel like I missed this 5 minutes ago, but it's great. I thought that this movie. Look, the other thing is, thanks for keeping it under 2 hours. Like, that's fresh, keeping around the 2 hour mark. We got into, and I started to kind of talk about this earlier when I was mentioning Lord of the Rings. It got to be where it's okay to make superhero movies 3 hours long. And I think that the challenge that filmmakers need to meet is keep a movie moving, man. Keep it moving and keep it going. And they did that with this. This was an adventure movie. This was a Superman adventure. And I absolutely loved it. I thought that what was happening here was like that. Well, let me say this. Let me go back. Golly. This is what happens when I'm going off the cuff with no notes, and I'm feeling the time crunch. I was talking to someone after the movie. I left the movie and I saw someone that was in the theater with us that we did not know. And I said, "Hey man, what'd you think?" He's like, "You know what? It was a comic book movie." And and I think it was, I think, and I've kind of said this is kind of like the first real comic book movie that I've seen. And I say that with no compunctions. Not the first superhero movie, the first comic book movie. When you get dropped into this, it's like opening up, it's like going to the convenience store back in the day, or going to the supermarket where the spinner rack is and grabbing a comic, that you've never read before, but now, whatever the reason was that you picked up that first comic book, whether it's because you recognize this character from the cartoons, or you just wanted to see what this was all about, or the art caught your eye, and you open it up, and as you open it up to a splash page, you're dropped in the middle of something that took place in the last issue. And you're being told enough to catch up, this many years ago, metahumans appeared. It's an age of gods and monsters. And then this many years ago, a little baby was sent to Earth. This many years ago, Superman showed up. This many days ago, he did this. This many minutes ago, he lost his first fight, and you're into it. Then boom, he lands in the snow, and boom, we're off to the races. there's a pocket universe that has been created. There's a dude running around called Ultraman that's just there, already. You've got Lex in this established thing. There's not an origin story here. You're playing catch up. We're introduced to Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and we're just expected to know who these people are. And I think it was great. I think it's a wonderful means of storytelling, because within the dialogue, just like in a good, well-written comic book, you got all the exposition you need as the story was moving. And whether it was through the robots that did that, old Gary, number 4, as it were, or whether it was through stuff that other people had to say, during the thing, you got to know what was going on. Superman and Lois already together. She knows Superman's Clark. Great. We don't have to go through all that. But we also are at a point in their relationship where it's kind of fresh. It's kind of new still. It's kind of, she's still figuring out if she can stay in it, and he's never been, and look, she pushes back on him in that interview when we first see them. And it's funny that was a risk. We talked about this on the House of L, that Derek said that was a risk because it was just so many minutes of dialogue. But man, when you got two people that can do the dialogue well, and you're getting everything you need to know about what's going on to this point, but you're getting it in such a way to discover who these people are. Lois is a reporter, and she's going to push back on Superman to question what he was doing and the ethicalness of it, the ethicality of it, the ethics of it all. And he's going to get frustrated because she's supposed to be in his corner, and he can't separate the two because he's just a good dude. It's basically a good guy. Where is that from? You're basically a good dude. Anyway, if anyone knows, please let me know. I'll check the comments. It's just so cool to have Michael Mercy in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for him to be here as we're talking about Superman. And this is what he says. He says, I love Corn Sweat as Superman. He was just trying to be a nice, wholesome fellow like Christopher Reeve played it, not cool or intense. Some of the post-Reeve Superman have been. Absolutely. And I'll talk about that in just a second as well. He just wants her to be on his side, and he feels like because she's pushing back, he's not. And that's a hard thing to learn in a relationship. And I just love that his whole thing was, people would die. If I didn't do this, then people were going to die. We are going to die. I know that's from Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. So yeah, it's so much fun, and you're reading a comic, and you're watching a comic on screen, and it's great. And even when you get to the end, and again, spoiler alert, everybody, and Supergirl comes in, what? She's established, and it's almost like, yeah, don't you know this? Didn't you read issue 3? Didn't you read issue 125? Whatever the case may be. And just good stuff. The post-credit scenes were fun, man. The crypto thing tugged on your heart. But here is the biggest takeaway I've had. And I need to explain this as I need to explain everything, not simply. I didn't realize I appreciated this until I was watching a silly YouTube video that had compiled all the trailers of all the Superman movies from way back with the first little serials to today. And I'm watching it, like, oh, wow, look at how they used to do these trailers in the old theaters in the black and white days. Oh, look, here's the 78 Superman. And that's when it hit me, because I hadn't thought about this. Richard Donner and Tom Mankiewicz made a big deal about it, and rightfully so. It's fine. It's a fine thing to do. It's something that happens in literature, of Superman being a Christ-type figure, that he is sent from another place to be here to help us and all this stuff. That is something that has been a thing in literature for years, and I absolutely understand it, and I get it. And it works on a lot of levels for Superman. When you get to the death and return of Superman, it works even further, and there are a lot of parallels that get drawn there. Here's the thing. I don't care for it. It doesn't bother me, but I also don't care. But what I don't like is how hard that whole motif has been shoehorned into other things. A little bit into Man of Steel, a little bit into, well, definitely into Superman Returns. Like, it became kind of this thing after the 78 Superman. If you go and you read like Bronze Age, Silver Age Superman, they're not like, it's a Christ figure. It's just the adventures of Superman. This didn't do that. He was just someone trying to be a good man. It's basically a good dude. He was trying, what is that from? He was trying to be a good man. Nice, kind, wholesome. And Derek pointed this out, and I do love it. After Metamorpho has had him there with all the with the kryptonite and everything, and he does the sun stuff, and or before he does sun stuff, but he turns the kryptonite off. He's like, "Why do you still look weird?" Someone goes, "I don't know." He needed the sun to heal. It's just fun when Mr. Terrific, and this was in the previews, he leans over and he says, "Hey man, what are you doing? Quit playing around." He's like, "I thought I wasn't playing around. I thought I was doing something important." There's some good stuff. So, Jonathan says it's from the Big Lebowski. I don't think it is. I know the dude is in the Big Lebowski, but you're basically a good dude. You're a good guy, man. It's something like that. And I can't think of the rest of the dialogue. It'll hit me later on. No, it's not someone saying dude, it's someone who's like trying to explain to someone, you're basically a good guy, man. You're basically, and the inflection is there. Anyway, don't get me, I don't have time to be derailed. I'm talking about Superman. The thing I love about Superman is what they highlight in this movie about Superman, and that is he has all the power in the world to rule the world, but instead he chooses to help. He tries to do the best he can to help people. He tries to do the best he can to be a good guy. And that's Superman. I just had so much, this movie was fun. This movie was exciting. And for all of my little quibbles and bits, James Gunn's tropes were there. Watch Guardians 2 with the arrow scene, and then watch the beach scene with Mr. Terrific. Watch Guardians 3 with the dancing at the end, and then watch the end of Superman with the spinning your camera around and all the scenes and everything. I'm a punk, just, and you're going to see, well, these are James Gunn's kind of ways of doing things. And that's fine. That's great, because James Gunn was able to do, honestly, what I don't think that even Zack Snyder was able to do, and that is kind of shake off the shackles of everything that has been and forge a new way. And he did it with brightness, with hope, with joy, with fun. This is a movie we're going to be talking about for a while, I think, and I know I will be. There's a lot to break down. I've only seen it twice, and I'm really anxious to see it again. And I think that it's not. I think that it's. I think I like it better than Fantastic Four. Is what I'm trying to say. It is the best superhero movie of the year so far, I think. Better than Thunderbolts, better than Fantastic Four. And I really had fun. I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to more. I can't wait to see what they do from here, because I think it's going to be a fun ride. I want to say thanks to Tim. I didn't use a lot of the screenshots that he sent along, and thank you so much, Tim, for taking the time to do this. Will Reeve had his cameo in this. Of course, he's actually on Good Morning America, I think, is where he's at. I love the Superman and Lois thing, and I love that Perry knew. When he's like, how long they've been seeing each other. The Daily Planet crew was fun and good. I want to spend more time with the Daily Planet crew. I want to spend more time with Superman. Golly, the kaiju fight. This is how good Superman is. He didn't want that kaiju to be killed. He wanted to get it to an intergalactic zoo. And the talk of an intergalactic zoo, like that's just a thing, you know. This is a Silver Age comic book come to life. This is a Bronze Age comic book come to life. This is the thing I loved about comics come to life. Now, there is some language in the movie that I would like to see toned down, because I want this type of movie as accessible to children as humanly possible. And people have different sensitivities today about language than they did in the 80s, but I want kids to have this kind of accessibility to a superhero movie, because this one was that much fun. It was that good. It was that hopeful. And I hope that this does for Superman in a lot of ways what maybe Nolan's Batman Begins did for Batman, or what 89 Batman did for... I just want Superman to be seen as the hero that he is and deserves to be seen as. So, yeah. We got to take a break, and we'll close up when we come back. Let's do this. I'm going to play one fake ad, then I'm going to come back and tell you about something I'm pretty excited about, and then we'll have to close out, and we'll get to Fantastic Four next time, and there will be a next time. Lord willing, of course. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Geek out loud, geek out loud, geek out loud, geek out loud, geek out loud.
Annoying Bigfoot.
This thing was 10 foot tall. He had beautiful hair. I thought he was going to kill my little dog.
Save time and money with Sasquatch Stick. The Sasquatch Stick is a revolutionary device that rids your property of those problem Bigfoot.
I come out here and rough talk him and run him off.
Our product's been successfully used by tens of thousands of people and been positively reviewed on nationwide news programs.
So I go up here, this stick, he was standing right there. And I said, get away from here. Get.
If you're not 100% satisfied, you'll get your money back guaranteed. Works on most mythic beasts, real or imagined.
And he went right back out that path again.
Others may cost you $100, but for 4 easy payments of $19.95, the Sasquatch Stick can be yours. Limited time offer, not available in stores.
Geek Out Loud is on, 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 Geek Out Loud. Geek Out Loud is on, 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 Geek Out Loud. Oh my lands, Kermit the Frog, you're up in the hall, waiting for Superman to finally show.
All right, I'm excited to tell you about Big Fork Brands. Big Fork Brands is an affiliate here on the show. They are based in Chicago, and you're talking about sausage, various sauces, and various pork jerky. Now, Big Fork Brands, I try not to do anything that I don't believe in, so I had to try Big Fork Brands. I'm not a big sauce guy when it comes to anything, but I tell you what I do like. I like sausage. So I tried their sausage. I got in the mail, actually just got in the mail yesterday, a variety pack of sausage from them. I tried their hickory smoked bacon sausage. I just fried it up in a pan. Like, I can't wait to put that stuff on the grill. Some of you Midwesterners might say it's like a bratwurst, but it's not. It's good. It is absolutely. And the thing is, there's no nitrates. It's uncured bacon and sausage. It is the hickory smoked bacon sausage is like, if I don't know what I'm going to do without it in my life. I'm just being honest with you. They're bold bacon sausage, paleo pork jerky, Chicago style sauces for your table. Rich, smoky flavors made with sustainable ingredients and chef-crafted care. Enjoy exclusive discount with my promo code GEEKOUT at BigForkBrands.com. Go to bigforkbrands.com, 20% off of any product with my code GEEKOUT at bigforkbrands.com. Here's what I had for supper tonight. Long table pancakes, Big Fork brand sausage. Happy man. It was delicious. And I'm not, again, it's meat, and I'm not going to lie to you about meat. So, having said that, I need to say this real quick. This is not from The Big Lebowski. Jonathan is trying to tell me it's from The Big Lebowski. It's not. This is from a movie much earlier in time than The Big Lebowski. It feels like it's not as, I know what it is. Thank goodness I figured it out. It's from The Incredible Hulk Returns. It's Donald Blake talking to, see, if Michael Bailey were here, he'd have been able to tell me. He's talking to Thor, and he's saying, you're basically a good guy, man. You're a good dude. Got it. It's from The Incredible Hulk Returns. It's Donald Blake talking to Thor. Finally. Anyone read or listened to Scott Myers novels? He's one of my favorite authors. I really feel like he might be a listener. I feel like he quoted the Sasquatch stick ad in a recent book. Who is Scott Myers? I'll get him on. I will. I dang sure will. So, oh God. So listen, my brain is so relieved after realizing where that's from. All right, here is the problem we face, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go. I'm on puppy duty now, and because my beloved has to go to bed. I missed a Donald Blake quote. Well, you missed Donald Blake quote from The Incredible Hulk Returns, the made-for-TV movie. The book was That's Not Right. It's about a paranormal podcaster who doesn't believe in the things he talks about. Oh, that's fun. I might have to check that out. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to everyone who has supported us. Again, there are a lot of you who bought those stand shoes, and I hope you enjoy them. Reach out to me. Let me know. geekoutonline@gmail.com. geekoutonline@gmail.com. Thank you to all of our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/geekoutloud. Dave Jones and I have Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer coming soon. I got to get with Shaz Bazaar and get another Hulk Out Loud out there to you. And Petra Show, I think I'm just going to stop trying to script it and just do it. And see how that goes. So would love to have you email us, geekoutonline@gmail.com. We've got more emails to get to. We've got more fun coming up for you. It is going to be, we'll be back, Lord willing, as I say, next week, maybe even before. You never know. It just depends on what we're able to do and how quickly we're able to get there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again so much. We appreciate you all for hanging with us and having a good time with us. Until next time, we'll see you around the Golaverse, everybody. Have a good one.